Providing care for people with developmental disabilities is more than a job. It's a relationship built on trust, respect, and the understanding that every person has inherent dignity and rights. Ethical care goes beyond meeting physical needs. It means being intentional with every interaction and holding yourself accountable for how you treat those you support. As a direct care staff member, you are in a position of power and responsibility. The choices you make every day have the potential to build someone up or to do harm, even without realizing it. Ethical care is about awareness, empathy, and doing the right thing, even when it's not the easiest path. First and foremost, it's essential to always respect the person you are supporting as an individual with their own values, preferences, and goals. This means listening, really listening to what they say and honoring their choices whenever possible. Avoid making assumptions about what someone wants or needs just because they have a disability. Autonomy is a fundamental human right. When you override someone's choices or speak for them without their input, even with good intentions, it erodes that right. Ethical care involves encouraging independence, not making decisions for people unless they are unable, and even then, always involving them as much as possible. Boundaries are another critical piece of ethical care. In this field, it's easy to fall into patterns of over-involvement, especially when bonds form between staff and participants. But ethical boundaries are about keeping the relationship professional while still being compassionate. Sharing personal stories, giving gifts, or becoming too emotionally involved can cloud your judgment. On the flip side, being too distant can also be harmful. Participants may feel rejected or devalued. The ethical approach is to remain warm and engaged without becoming enmeshed, clear, respectful, and professional. Confidentiality must also be a constant priority. People with disabilities are entitled to the same privacy as anyone else. Talking about participants in public, posting photos without consent, or even gossiping with other staff members about someone's behavior crosses ethical lines. It's important to remember that information shared with you is not yours to freely share. It belongs to the person you're supporting. If you wouldn't want someone talking that way about you, it probably shouldn't be said. Ethical care also means speaking up when something feels wrong. Whether it's witnessing another staff member disrespect a participant or noticing signs of neglect or abuse, staying silent is not an option. Direct care staff are legally and ethically required to report concerns. It can be uncomfortable, but protecting the people you serve must come first. Sometimes the ethical choice is the hardest one to make, but your courage could make all the difference in someone's life. Equally important is the ethical responsibility to keep growing in your role. That means continuing to learn, reflecting on your own actions, and seeking feedback. If you realize you've made a mistake or said something disrespectful, own it and learn from it. Nobody is perfect, but ethical caregivers take accountability seriously. Ethical care is not a destination. It's an ongoing process of learning and adjusting. Imagine a scenario: a staff member, Melissa, is supporting James, a 30-year-old man with autism who struggles with sensory sensitivities. One day, Melissa is in a rush and insists that James wear a sweater he hates because it's cold outside, and there's no time to argue. James becomes agitated, eventually melting down. Later, Melissa complains to coworkers about how childish James was. In this case, Melissa unintentionally violated ethical care on several fronts. She dismissed James's autonomy, forced compliance, and later mocked him in a disrespectful way. Ethical care would have looked like giving James time to communicate his needs, offering alternatives if possible, and treating the meltdown with compassion, not judgment. Even in a hurry, respect cannot be optional. Ultimately, ethics in disability care is about honoring humanity. Every choice you make should reflect a deep understanding that the person you're supporting has a life as full and complex as your own. Ethical care is the daily practice of patience, empathy, respect, and courage. It may not always be easy, but it's always worth doing right. When you practice ethical care, you're not just providing support, you're upholding someone's right to live a life of dignity and meaning.